Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
The world of supercars is embroiled in the most high-profile and uncompromising battle in recent years. When Elon Musk announced that his new Tesla Roadster NXTG would set new standards, surpassing the best gasoline-powered sports cars in every respect, it seemed that the era of electric cars had become an indisputable reality. But then he appeared Christian von Koenigsegg, the Swedish automotive genius who didn't just challenge Musk, but caused a real storm in the automotive industry. This confrontation is not just a battle of technologies, it is a clash of worldviews, where not only speed is at stake, but the very soul of the car.
Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
In recent years, Musk has turned Tesla from a modest startup into a symbol of the future, conquering the world with record acceleration and futuristic innovations such as SpaceX rockets integrated into electric cars. His Tesla Roadster can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in an incredible 1.1 seconds, and tiny rocket boosters allow the car to even lift slightly off the ground, like something out of a science fiction movie. It seemed that nothing could stop this technological breakthrough and make electric cars the kings of the road. But Christian von Koenigsegg chose a different path, one of mechanical harmony and engineering artistry.
Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk,
While the world marvels at silence and flawless automation, Koenigsegg defends the driver's right to feel every movement of the car, hear its roar, and feel connected to the road. His cars are not just vehicles, but works of engineering poetry that combine the latest hybrid technologies with old-school spirit, where every detail serves a single purpose, that's to deliver pure driving pleasure and emotion. His unique designs, such as free valves and direct drive, are turning the concept of what a supercar can be on its head. When Christian was asked at a private event whether his company could survive in the world that Tesla is reshaping, he replied simply and boldly, "We build real cars, but not soulless gadgets with screens."
Running around on stage with a Tesla stock price, where the stock price had gone in half. And he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do. What a creep, what a jerk. Like who derives joy?
These words blew up the internet, and Musk's response was not long in coming. Behind closed doors, a real battle of ambitions and convictions began. Who will emerge victorious in this clash of titans, the Silicon Valley revolutionary or the humble engineer from Sweden who paved his way against all odds? Today, we'll tell you how this tense story unfolded, what technologies and philosophies are behind each of these heroes, and why this battle is much more than just a dispute between two manufacturers. This is a story about the future of cars, about how the very meaning of driving is changing, and about what is at stake in the era of the electric revolution.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. A lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
Stay tuned for a thrilling tale of a war of ideas, speeds and souls. Who is really building the future of the automotive industry? Musk with his technological breakthrough, or Koenigsegg with his engineering passion? Subscribe, like, and stay with us in this video. We'll reveal all the details of the most talked about automotive drama of our time. Text: when Elon Musk last took to Twitter, his message shook the automotive world to its core. He announced that the new next-generation Tesla Roadster would not just be fast, it would surpass the best gasoline sports cars in every way, without exception. Musk set his sights on electric cars, taking the speed crown from classic supercars and challenging the dominance of internal combustion engines in this segment forever.
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
His words sounded like a challenge. Tesla isn't just going to catch up with the old school, it wants to completely surpass it, setting a new bar that no one else can reach. Musk wasn't just talking about innovation, but about total superiority speed, handling technology design without compromise. It was a bold, ambitious goal, and from that moment on, tensions in the world of supercars began to rise. These words could not go unnoticed in the small but formidable Swedish corner of the automotive industry by Christian von Koenigsegg, the founder and CEO of one of the most exotic companies in the world of hypercars.
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government. He's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
Christian's story is that of a man who started from scratch, without billions in investment or big names behind him, but with a big dream to build the fastest, the most advanced cars in the world. His path differs from Musk's, and he accepted Musk's challenge not as a quiet rival, but as a true fighter, ready to fight back on every front. When Musk launched his high-profile campaign with the Tesla Roadster NXTG, Christian saw it as an attack not only on technology, but also on the philosophy of car manufacturing. Before moving on to open confrontation, Christian watched Tesla's development for a long time and admired what Musk had achieved.
Well, you will hear people over in Europe say the new Model Y, the Juniper, could be a difference maker, but that's been in that market now for more than a month. And you would think that you would see a greater snapback if it's going to be a difference maker. Look, we could be wrong. It could be a difference maker once you get the sales for April, May, and June. But when you have a country like Norway, I think the sales were down something like 11% there. I mean, that's a very savvy EV consumer in Norway. And that's long been a strength for Tesla. Very small market, not huge volume, but I think almost all of the vehicles they sell there are electric. And they embraced Tesla long before others. And, the reports there are not encouraging.
In one of his rare interviews, he openly admitted that he saw Musk not just as a businessman, but as a visionary who changed the perception of what the car of the future could be. But admiration gave way to concern. Christian understood that in the pursuit of technological perfection and maximum automation, something important was being lost from cars: their soul, their emotions, and the very essence of driving pleasure. He saw the world becoming increasingly bogged down in faceless machines that were losing their connection with the driver, becoming mere means of transportation, devoid of individuality and drive.
371, most were saying 350 to 360. Now they're coming in at 336,068, production of 362,615. So for some point of reference here, you're going back to Q2, maybe Q1 of 2022 in terms of the last time that they had production this or deliveries this low for one quarter. So again, Tesla deliveries worse than expected at just over 336,000 deliveries in the first quarter. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
That's horrible. Can I just ask Phil, how about the Cybertruck? How's that doing? You got a little inventory there in the Cybertruck?
The starting point for their open confrontation was when Musk publicly announced that the Tesla Roadster NXTG would break all speed records and show that an electric car could become the new pinnacle of automotive art. His statements were accompanied by announcements of rocket boosters and innovative technologies that would allow the car to literally take off from the ground, giving the driver the sensation of flying. This news blew up the media and sparked a flurry of enthusiastic reviews, but at the same time caused deep discontent among Koenigsegg's ranks. Christians saw this not just as a technical competition, but as a threat to the very philosophy of car manufacturing, based on harmony between man and machine.
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
When Christian von Koenigsegg publicly stated that his company builds real cars, not soulless gadgets with screens, it was a real challenge. These words were not just criticism, but a manifesto, a declaration of war for the soul of cars in the digital revolution. He questioned not only Tesla's product, but also Elon Musk's entire approach, which, according to Christian, ignored the importance of mechanical complexity, the emotional connection between the driver and the car, and the feeling that a live engine and manual control provide.
Canada, the largest supplier of steel to the U.S., slapping new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods that are sold in Canada. And the 27 countries of the European Union imposing retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. goods sold in Europe, including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. President Trump with the Irish Prime Minister visiting the White House today. The president suggesting his tariffs won't stop here, saying, "Of course, I'm going to respond." And tonight, right here, the new poll showing 56% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. The number's even worse now on the president's tariffs.
For Christian, a car is not just a means of transportation, it is an experience, an emotion, an art form born in every element of its design. The story of Christian von Koenigsegg is not just a tale of a talented engineer and entrepreneur. It is the story of a man who began his journey in a modest Swedish town, far from the glamour of Silicon Valley and its billion-dollar funds. At the age of 22, he turned down job offers from prestigious companies and decided to build his own brand, taking all the risks on his own. He sold everything he owned, took out loans, and set up a workshop in an abandoned hangar at the Swedish airfield in Ängelholm.
Tesla shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio. Remy, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration. Some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain. But because of what's happening here in Europe, Tesla sales fell by nearly half across the continent just last month, 45%.
There, among blueprints, carbon fiber panels, and engines, he and his small team created the first prototypes of hypercars that not only impressed with their speed, but also turned the concept of engineering possibilities on its head. Koenigsegg had no support from major investors and did not have the billions in capital that allowed Tesla to build mass production and capture markets. His approach was completely opposite: handcrafted, limited series, and absolute attention to detail. While other companies were chasing prestige and luxury, Christian put pure speed, handling, and innovation first. His cars were not designed for a wide audience. They were designed for those who appreciate a challenge, who want to feel like they are part of a mechanical symphony and not just a passenger in a soulless machine. That's why. When Musk began to ramp up the pressure by creating an electric roadster with rocket boosters and promising acceleration to 100 km/h in just over a second, Christian took it as a personal challenge. He knew that Tesla operated on a completely different scale and set of principles, but he wasn't going to back down.
After Trump imposed those sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, the European Union retaliating with tariffs on up to $28 billion of U.S. goods. Trump making it clear this isn't over, vowing to respond in kind with sweeping retaliatory tariffs early next month.
They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union, but it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
Canada also striking back with new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods, mostly steel and aluminum, but also computers and sporting goods.
For him, a car is a symbiosis of mechanics and soul, where every movement and sound matters. While Tesla strove for maximum efficiency, minimalist controls, and full automation, Koenigsegg bet on complex hybrid systems that not only worked but also evoked emotions in the driver. Christian experimented with technologies that many considered too risky: free valves, camless engines, unique direct drives, and the fusion of electric motor power and the vibrations of classic internal combustion engines. For him, it was important not to get rid of the old for the sake of the new, but to create a harmonious balance between technologies that would preserve the drive and character of the car. Koenigsegg did not abandon electrification. On the contrary, the company was the first in the world to introduce 800-volt power units in the Regera, which was a breakthrough in the field of electric vehicles. However, their approach differed from Tesla's. Instead of chasing maximum power and acceleration, Koenigsegg focused on lightness, responsiveness, and balance. Christian understood that a large battery is not just a source of energy, but also weight that affects handling and dynamics. Therefore, Koenigsegg engineers created compact, integrated battery systems that improved the center of gravity and did not impair the driver's interaction with the road.
Worse than expected, 336 and 68 vehicles, 336,068 vehicles delivered in the first quarter for Tesla. For a point of reference, the street was expecting, the street account was expecting, based on analyst expectations.
That is why Tesla and Koenigsegg ended up not just competitors in a technology race, but representatives of two opposing philosophies. While Musk was developing the idea of a driverless car, where every movement is dictated by an algorithm, Christian was creating cars that required human involvement and concentration. With each new autopilot update, Tesla distanced the driver from the steering wheel, reducing their role to that of a passive observer. Koenigsegg, on the other hand, added more and more mechanical innovations that required the driver to be in complete harmony with the car. Musk and his team saw a future of scale and mass production, where electric cars would become affordable for everyone, part of a smart city, and fully autonomous.
Over the last couple of months. But the other thing that this could potentially be is an attempt at readjustment or correction by the Trump administration, in that one of Trump's closest kind of allies and supporters, and someone who's clearly very influential in the administration, is coming out to kind of push back against the recently implemented policies. So I'm thinking, or maybe hopeful is the right word, that this might be a signal that the administration is considering walking back some of those policies.
Koenigsegg saw this future as too impersonal and cold, where the essence of driving pleasure would be lost. That's why Christian put his energy into cars that aren't just fast, but alive, that make your blood boil and your heart beat faster. For him, every sound of the engine, every vibration and response of the steering wheel is part of a conversation between the car and the driver that no algorithm can replace. The Tesla Roadster with rocket boosters became a symbol of Musk's technological boldness and experimentation. A car that can literally take off above the road, giving the sensation of flight, amazes the imagination and resembles scenes from science fiction films. It is not just a means of transport, it is a show, a real event that shapes new expectations for electric cars. But Christian von Koenigsegg was not impressed by the visual effects and records alone. He questioned the price of such technologies, pointing out that in the pursuit of speed and spectacle, the most important thing can be lost: the feel of the road. Christian's ideas about maintaining a balance between electrical engineering and traditional mechanics are reflected in Koenigsegg models such as the Jesko and Regera. These are not just hypercars, they are engineering masterpieces that combine the latest achievements and years of experience.
Hey Diane, this investigation really just beginning, and one of the key elements will, of course, be the surveillance video. And investigators potentially have a lot of it to work with as they try to figure out what caused this fire. We know that surveillance footage has been turned over, including video from each of the cars, which could prove vital to understanding what happened here, because each vehicle has its own camera system that works even when the car is off. And 16 cars burned in this fire. And right now, investigators don't know what caused it.
And although both visionaries recognize each other's achievements, disagreements are increasingly breaking out between them, escalating into open confrontation.in. This tense confrontation between technologies and philosophies, the automotive industry is facing not just an evolution, but a real revolution, where the outcome will determine what the car of the future will be: a cold robot on wheels or a living, breathing mechanism that remains in the heart of every driver. The tension between Christian von Koenigsegg and Elon Musk reached a boiling point when a conversation took place at a closed industry event in Europe that became a turning point in their rivalry.
KTLA Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protest of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas.
During the question and answer session, one of the journalists couldn't resist asking Christian a direct question: could Koenigsegg survive in the world that Tesla is reshaping? His answer, delivered with a slight smirk and without a shadow of a doubt, caused a real sensation. Tell Elon that we build real cars, not soulless gadgets with screens. These words quickly spread across the internet, sparking a wave of discussion and media overload. Musk's reaction to this statement was swift and far from restrained. Sources close to Tesla revealed that the CEO was deeply upset by this challenge and perceived von Koenigsegg's words as an attempt to undermine Tesla's authority and discredit the innovative path chosen by the company.
But they are not ruling out the possibility that this was arson. At the same time, as you just mentioned, there are groups that have been organizing ongoing and peaceful protests at Tesla dealerships around the world. These demonstrations targeting Elon Musk and his affiliation with the Trump administration. Also, Italy's prime minister is said to be close friends with Musk, and there were reports that Teslas have been vandalized in her hometown in Italy. Diane.
Ultimately, this conflict raises the question: what is more important, mass production and technological progress that makes transportation accessible and convenient, or a unique driving experience that brings joy and inspiration? And will the industry be able to find harmony between these two poles, or will the struggle continue, maybe forcing manufacturers to make choices that will determine the fate of cars for decades to come? There are no answers yet, but one thing is clear: the battle between Elon Musk and Christian von Koenigsegg is just the beginning of a new era in the history of the automotive industry, one that promises to be bright, complex, and truly exciting.